The last witness in the landmark trial of former Chad dictator Hissène Habré is scheduled to testify today in Senegal. The lawyer's closing statements are expected to take place in 2016, with a verdict by the end of May. Habré, who ruled Chad from 1982 to 1990 before fleeing to Senegal, has stood trial since July this year before the extraordinary African chambers in the Senegalese court system on charges of crime against humanity, torture and war crimes. Counsel and spokesperson of the Human Rights Watch, Brody, joins us by telephone to share his thoughts on the issue. Many thanks for joining us. Now the last witness testifies today, and prosecutors usually save the best for last. So are we expecting a game changer today?
Well, no, I think it's going to end with a very interesting witness, a man who was both a rebel and somebody who worked under Hissène Habré. We've seen 98 witnesses in the 52-day trial. We've seen experts on ballistics, handwriting, the history of Chad, military experts, researchers from Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch. We've had victims mostly. About 60 of the people who testified were victims of alleged crimes of Hissène Habré's, torture victims, rape victims, victims of sexual slavery. Habré is alleged to have committed thousands of political killings and systematic torture when he ruled Chad from 1982 to 1990.
Now, Reid, Hissène Habré initially rejected the legitimacy of this trial. How will it affect its outcome?
Well, Habré is in court against his will. He didn't want to come to court. As you say, he rejects the legitimacy of the chambers. But of course, no dictator wants to be on trial. And when justice catches up with them, whether it be Slobodan Milosevic or Charles Taylor or Pinochet, the first thing they do is say, you don't have jurisdiction over me. But this is a court that was mandated both by the International Court of Justice, the highest tribunal of the UN system, as well as by the African Union. And it's a court set up by Senegal and the African Union. The presiding judge is from Burkina Faso. The other judges are from Senegal. So this court has both a legal and a political legitimacy.
Well, closing statements in 2016 and the verdict sometime in May. This has been a rather protracted trial, wouldn't you say?
Well, the trial itself has actually been very efficient. I mean, when you compare it with the trials in The Hague and in Arusha and even in Sierra Leone that have gone on for years and years, this was a 3-month trial and a fraction of the cost. What was a real marathon was the campaigning by the victims for 25 years to get to this point. Suleiman Gang, the founder of the Victims Association, took an oath when he was in prison and he was watching people die around him. And if he ever got out, he would fight for justice. That was over 25 years ago. He and his colleagues and the survivors and some very brave Chadian lawyers have been fighting for 25 years. Habré was indicted for the first time 15 years ago in Senegal, but the previous government of Senegal refused to let the case go forward. The victims campaigned in the African Union, in Geneva, at The Hague, until finally Senegal was ordered to either prosecute Habré in Senegal or extradite him. And when Macky Sall became president of Senegal, he said, we're going to prosecute Hissène Habré and give him a fair trial in Senegal. Bishop Desmond Tutu referred to the victims' quest as a legal and political soap opera that, as I said, lasted 25 years. But finally, this court was set up, and the trial has been, by everybody's standards, a fair trial. The defense was given a chance. Habré refused to recognize the court, but he had lawyers appointed to defend his interests, and they've been very active in challenging the witnesses and putting forward an alternative narrative.
Now, what message is being sent to other African leaders through this trial?
I think the message, the most important message is the one that's being shown by the victims, that it is possible for survivors and activists with tenacity and perseverance to bring to justice a dictator, even in Africa. And I think that obviously dictators and tyrants are going to be looking at this, but the most important lesson is there's a source of inspiration. I mean, the victims' leaders have been getting invitations all over Africa to come and talk about what they've done in the Hissène Habré case. There are a lot of other people who would like to see justice done as well.
Reed Brody, spokesperson, Human Rights Watch, would like to thank you for joining us on TVC NewsHour.